This is one of my favorite scenarios because it's extremely versatile and it can provide so much benefit to so many different types of businesses. We're using OpenAI assistants here, ChatGPT assistants. Now, these are different from the typical ChatGPT module that we would use inside of Make because assistants are pre-trained, and that is from inside the OpenAI platform itself, and they can remember conversations. So you can chat with them and then chat with them 2-3 days later, and all of that chat history will be remembered by the module, which is of course much more useful if you want to have an ongoing conversation or if you want them to remember information about your business. Now, we can create an assistant for any type of role. In this case, we're just going to create a simple marketing assistant. So somebody who you can talk to about your marketing, get some ideas, scripts, get some copy. You can even upload files and have them analyze ad data, all kinds of things like that. But as I say, you can install any type of assistant to complete almost any type of task. It's so versatile. Now, in this scenario, we're using Slack messages and you will communicate via a Slack channel, but there's no reason why you couldn't set this up with something like email. So in that case, the trigger, as we have here webhooks as a trigger, you would simply have an email module here as a trigger. And then rather than having the Slack modules, you would just have the assistant reply via email. It would be very easy and very simple to set up. Now, there are a few more steps to setting up this scenario than others that we've been through. It's a little bit more complicated, but if you follow the steps as we go through, anybody can do it. It doesn't require any coding. So let's get straight into it. Now, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we've created a channel in Slack for this bot. Now, in this case, I've created a channel here called Testing Bot. Obviously, you can call it anything you like that relates to what you want this AI bot to actually achieve for you. So once we've created that channel, we're going to head back to Make. And you're going to see the first module here is Custom Webhook. Now, this is what we're going to do. We click on Custom Webhook, and then we click Create a Webhook. Now, we can give it a name, so we can call this Slack Webhook, for example, if we can spell correctly. And then we just go ahead and click Save. And you see here it's going to give us a URL. We're going to copy that address to clipboard by clicking this button. Now what we need to do is create an app inside of Slack, which is very easy to do. So we're just going to do a Google search for Slack apps. And you'll see here it says Your Apps. We're going to click that. Now, this is a previous one that I've made, but we're going to go ahead and click Create New App. And then we're going to click From Scratch. We're going to give it a name. I'm going to call this make.com 2. And then we need to pick our Slack workspace from the drop-down. Now, the functionality we need in order for this to work is event subscriptions. So we're going to click Event Subscriptions, and then we're going to click Enable Events. Now, you're going to see this box here that's asking for a webhook. Luckily, we already copied our webhook from the previous module. So we're simply going to paste it in, and you're going to see it comes up here with an error because it didn't respond with the value of the challenge parameter. But that's okay. We're going to come back to Make, and we're going to look in this second module. We've already set up the response to be the challenge. Now, this is just a verification from Slack that it's talking to the right webhook. So when Slack sends an event to this webhook, it needs to receive something back so that it knows it's talking to the right person. It's essentially like a password. Now, we actually need to run this scenario in order to complete the steps for the webhook. However, if we click Run Once, it's going to tell us our connections are not found for OpenAI. So we're going to skip ahead really quickly and just add in our accounts. Then we'll come back to this step. So we're going to go overhead to OpenAI, and we're going to create a connection. Now, if you've already set up some other automations, you may already have your connection available there, but I'm showing you this particular scenario from a completely blank slate. So we're going to go ahead, click Create a Connection, and then we're going to get our API keys. I'm already logged into my OpenAI account, but if you're not, it will ask you to do so at this stage. So we're going to create a new key. This is going to be my test key, and we're going to leave it as default project. Now I'm just going to copy this key and paste it in the API key box. Now we need our organization ID. So we're going to click this link and we're going to take our organization ID from here. We're going to copy and we're going to paste. And then we just click save. Because I've connected to my OpenAI account, it's pulled up this previous information from my assistant and my thread ID. Now, if you see this information in here, such as a thread ID, just go ahead and delete that because we're going to add a new thread ID in later. Now we're going to go ahead, click OK, and we're going to make sure that all of our OpenAI modules are connected. So we're going to do the same thing for each OpenAI module. We also need to connect our Slack account. So let's go ahead and do that now. Click on the Slack module, and then we're going to click Create a Connection. Under Connection Type, we're going to select Bot. You can call it whatever you like, and then we're going to click Save. Now it's going to ask you to log in to your Slack account. All we need to do is hit Allow. Now we can see our connection has been made. Since we're using the testing bot, we're going to select the testing bot channel, and we're going to click OK. We're going to connect this Slack account as well. We just choose it from the list as before. Make sure that our channel is the right channel, which is going to be testing bot, and then we click OK. Finally, we're going to connect the last Slack module. So we're going to click Create a Connection, and then we're going to hit Save. Then we hit Allow. And now we have the connection made, so we click OK. Now all of our apps are connected. We're going to go ahead and complete the setup for the webhooks. So we're going to run the scenario. Now we can see the webhook is listening. We come back over to our Slack app and we're going to hit Retry. And now you're going to see it says verified. That's because now that the scenario is running, it has received the response from the webhook there. We have a filter here, which we don't need to change, but I'm just going to explain to you why we have it and exactly what it does. So if we click on the filter, which is called no self-reply, you'll see that there's a condition that it will only pass if the event bot ID does not exist. We have this in there to stop ChatGPT replying to itself and to its own messages, because you'll end up with an eternal loop of ChatGPT talking to itself. If we put this filter in, if the message has a bot ID attached to it, it will ignore it. Next up, we have this router. Now this router has two paths. One if there's a file attached, and one if there's no file attached. We set up filters on this router. So similarly to in the no self-reply filter, if there's a file ID, it will pass down this path. And if there's no file ID, it will go through this path, which has no download a file option, and it has no upload a file option inside Open. Now we need to create our OpenAI or ChatGPT assistant. So we're going to go to platform.openai.com/assistants. As you can see here, I already have some assistants that I've made, but we're going to create a brand new one for this test. So we're going to click Create. We're going to give our assistant a name. We're going to call this the testing bot. And now we have some instructions. Now this is where we can include all kinds of roles for the ChatGPT assistant. We can have it as a marketing bot. This could be some kind of onboarding assistant who helps either new clients or new employees at your business whenever they get stuck or if they need some help. In this case, we're just going to say, you are an expert marketer with 20 years experience. You specialize in Facebook and Google ads. Now go into a lot more detail here. You have plenty of space to write in your instructions. You can also click this to obviously pop out the box, and you have a big long window there for entering detailed instructions as to how you want the assistant to respond and to behave. Another incredible benefit of using an assistant is we can upload files to its knowledge database. So all we need to do is click this file search, and then we can upload files from our desktop. And this could be anything relating to your business. It could be, if you're using a marketing bot, it could be your previous results from marketing. It could be your entire SOPs. It could be anything to do with your business that's going to give ChatGPT the information that it needs. We're not going to do that in this case, but it's a really fantastic feature and a great reason for using assistants. Now we're going to select the model for ChatGPT. I would love to be using ChatGPT 4.0, which is their newest version. However, at the time of me recording this video, Make.com doesn't support it through the assistance module. I think this is going to be changing in the next days or even weeks. So if it is available to you and it's working, go ahead and select ChatGPT 4.0. At the moment, I'm going to select 4 Turbo because that allows us to keep the file search. We can also turn on Code Interpreter. Now that will allow us to upload files to the assistant, and it will enable the assistant to be able to read those files, which is obviously a very useful feature. Now we've given our assistant some instructions, we have to go and click this playground button. Now you can use this for testing your assistant to see how it responds, and you can update your instructions as you need to. But what we really need is the thread ID. And in order to get that, we actually have to type a little message. So we're just going to write, "Hello." And now we can see we have a thread ID. So we're going to take this thread ID and we're going to copy. We're going to come back to Make, and inside this messaging assistant, we're going to be using this thread ID. So we're going to select our assistant from this list. We should see here now testing bot, or whatever it is that you've named your assistant. And in the thread ID, we're going to paste what we've just copied from the OpenAI platform. And we're going to click OK. Now we need to repeat the same thing for this module. We need to select our assistant. We need to paste in our thread ID, and then we just click OK. But now we're almost there, but we still need to finish creating our Slack app. So go back to the window where we were configuring our Slack app. We're going to come down to subscribe to bot events. We're going to click add bot user event, and we're going to search for message. Now in here we should see message channels. Okay, now we're going to click subscribe to events on behalf of users, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to search message, and then we're going to find message channels. This allows the app to be able to see the messages on the channels. We're going to click save changes. Now we need to activate the app inside the workspace. We're going to click install app, and then install to workspace. We're going to allow. And now the app is successfully installed in our Slack workspace. Let's head back to Make.com. Now we're going to turn on the scenario. And in Slack, we're going to test it. We're going to say, "Hello, how are you?" The response is going to come up as Integromat, which is the previous name of Make.com. So let's say we need some help with Facebook ads. Can you help us? Okay, we have an almost instant response. Let's try uploading a file, a PDF, and see if it can read the PDF. Can you tell me what this is about? Then we're going to add the file. This is a welcome pack I was sent for an Airbnb that we recently stayed in. Not very related to marketing, but I just want to see how the bot handles the PDF. And here we go. It looks like it's read the PDF through. It's for guests staying at a hotel in Carbis Bay, Cornwall. It contains a summary of everything inside. So it looks like the file upload is working nicely. It may not be able to handle all types of files. Perhaps some image formats it won't be able to handle, but generally speaking, PDFs and CSVs are going to be absolutely fine when you upload them into the bot. So that concludes our tutorial for setting up this particular automation. I hope you guys find it really, really useful. As I said, there are so many different ways that you can make this work, and there are so many different ways that you can also adapt this to suit your needs. For example, the automation that we made that searches Reddit for trending topics to create content around, you could easily even integrate something like this into this automation. So you can send the Slack channel a message that says the type of topic that you would like to get content ideas for, and then through this kind of integration, it could activate a bot like that, and the response could come back into the Slack channel rather than via email. It's a really good way to set up a connection with AI through your Slack account.